And I remember he turned and said to me, he was like, I will die on this hill. This ain't right, and it's gonna make it right. And you know what? Y'all need to back me. And I'd be damned if he didn't try to Jerry Maguire that moment. Who's going with me? Who's gonna stay here with me? He just start, for some reason, start yelling, Attica, Attica. Now, I knew what that meant. Most people was like, who the hell is Attica? Is that your little girlfriend? Is that, who's Attica? Hello, Governor. Snoop from the Ville. Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna dive headfirst into some of the most profound questions of life, inspired by a truly great piece of television. You ever faced a moment so defining, so absolutely critical that you knew that you couldn't back down? A belief, a value, a stance so core to who you are that you literally die on a hill to protect it? We all have those lines in the sand, those non-negotiables that define our character. But what happens when standing on a hill means that you're killing off the person that you used to be? What does that beautiful, brutal act of self-transformation actually look like when your old self is collapsing and your new self is rising from the ashes? Let me tell you a little story. When I was a young man, I was on the set of a local TV show. I don't know, maybe it went national. And I was a young actor. I was not used to being on a set, and I was an extra in this particular production. Just so happens that one of my friends who I'd been in college with was on the set of the same production. Now, when he first got there, he greeted me and he told me that he had a speaking part. Now, if you don't know, a speaking part means that you get paid more. You get to talk. I was just someone who was in the background, you know, a large scene with a lot of people. You might see my face. One of those things where you pause it real quick, like, there I am. Oh, there I am again. But he got a speaking part, and sometimes you got paid more just for one line. And if you had several lines, you got paid a lot more, you know, up to being a lead. So he had a speaking part, and he was quite proud of it. You know, he'd been on several sets, and this wasn't his first rodeo where it was mine. So I was like, okay, good for you, all right. I'm trying to get one of them speaking parts too, make a little bit more. I think we made like $10 an hour or something as an extra. A short while later, he showed up. He's mad as hell. Because apparently, for whatever, he had been all over the set that day. He'd been running his mouth, talking crazy to people. He was acting like he was the lead of the show. And I think in his mind, he really thinks that he should have been the lead. He auditioned for the lead, but he didn't get it. So they gave him a speaking part with a line, a few lines, I don't know. But he was all over the place, running his mouth. And so come to find out, he had been demoted to just an extra. It looked like the character that he was set to play, they cut that character from the script. He was hot as fire, hot like chicken grease. So then it comes time to film the big scene. This is the scene I'm in. And he keeps running it to the director, the assistant director, about all these things. And, you know, because he was supposed to have a couple lines that he said in this that promoted this pivotal, damn near riot scene that we were in. We were in a face-off with the cops over some injustice. And he was personally in a face-off with the directors and I don't know who else, the people who are running the series, over what he felt was an injustice. And he took it personal, and he took it out on the staff and the crew, and he went off to the point where they said, you know what, we're gonna have to remove you from set. You're not even extra anymore. Oh, he was incensed. He'd had enough. He said, oh, hell no. Y'all gonna have to make me move. They called the security over there, and he was like, run up, get done up. He's from the hood here, so, I mean, he ain't got that kind of fight in him, but, you know, still they said, you know what? To keep it all the way professional, we're just gonna call the authorities. And they called the police to come remove him from the set. And I remember he turned and said to me, he was like, I will die on this hill. This ain't right, and it's gonna make it right. And you know what? Y'all need to back me. And I'll be damned if he didn't try to Jerry Maguire that moment. Who's going with me? Who's gonna stay here with me? He just for some reason, start yelling, Attica, Attica. Now, I knew what that meant. Most people was like, who the hell is Attica? Is that your little girlfriend? Who's Attica? Needless to say, the police came and removed his ass because anybody else who participated and fell into the Jerry Maguire-ness of it all with him, they was also going to be removed from the set. And I remember he looked at me, he was like, you with me? And I was like, hell no. I need this little punk ass check. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him since. I hope he did okay. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steve, new from the Ville, and we're going to take a deep, therapeutic, what I call the media therapy deep dive into Doctor Who, Season 10, Episode 12, The Doctor Falls. This is the season finale. Now, this episode isn't just about a battle against the Cybermen. It's a raw, unflinching look at final stands, ultimate sacrifices, and the agonizing yet necessary death of an old self to make way for your new self. I'll explore how the Doctor, Bill, and even Missy all find that hill to die on, and what their personal transformations, both literal and metaphorical, teach us about letting go of who we were to become who we were meant to be. Get ready to challenge your own convictions, explore the price of transformation, and find out what it truly means, and find out what it means to truly commit to where you stand. Let's get into it. Now, I'm assuming that because you're here with me on this deep dive, that you've already seen this episode. However, if you have not, go into the description and look up where it says episode this analysis is based on, and you can see the reaction between Centel and myself. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and if you haven't, subscribe. Now, did you know that the hill you will die on is an idiom? It signifies a belief, a principle, or a position that an individual holds so strongly that they're willing to defend it at any cost, even their life or their reputation. It's about an unwavering conviction, and it defines one's core values. Now, in the story I told, I did not think that that was my hill to die on. That was my partner Don's. That was his hill to die on. It wasn't mine. But I learned a lot about that. For whatever reason, he felt that they had aggrieved him enough that that was his personal hill to die on. Now, today, as we've gotten older, he might differ. But on that day, he was going down on that hill. I couldn't go down with him. Hey, peace out, my homeboy. Now, in the Doctor Falls, you have 3 different people that find they have their own hill and their personal transformations taking place. So let's break it down by each one of these people in context to the story. The Doctor had an unwavering commitment to save lives. He always does. That's what he does. Any lives, especially all the lives of the people on this ship. This ship is 400 miles long. And the closer you are to the black hole, the slower time moves. So they're producing new humans in the thousands. And the Doctor is dedicated to saving as many lives as he can. Now, he knows it's impossible odds, and not only that, he has 2 masters telling him that everything he's doing is futile. Stupid. In his final stand against the Cybermen, he even delayed his own regeneration. He was hurt, he was wounded, to the point he needed to regenerate. He said, nope, I still have a mission. Can't do it yet. That right there is the ultimate hill to die on, because literally at this point he is mortally wounded to the point where he is dying and he needs to regenerate. And he's like, time out, pause, not ready to go yet, I still have things to do. That is the Doctor's core identity. His repeated refusal to regenerate at the end underscores his fight for who he is and his values. Now, Bill Potts is in a fight to retain her humanity and her consciousness within the Cyberman body. Now, we had already seen this before a few seasons back with Danny Pink. When Danny died, he became a Cyberman, but at the very end, he retained his humanity enough to a point where he even sacrificed himself to save everyone else while being in the Cyberman frame. Very much the same way that Bill saved everyone from the Shadow Monks, Bill's doing it again, because even though she's horrifyingly converted, her emotional core, her love for the Doctor, and her identity still persist. She dies on that hill and refuses to be fully assimilated. It's working on her, but she refuses. Her tears, the act of humanity the Cybermen deem impossible, symbolize that Bill is fighting, and that's a hill that I won't say willing to die for, but it almost seems that she's already kind of died on that hill. Oh, bless Missy. In her desperate final internal struggle against the Master, which I know that's one of those things, like she is the Master, but a later incarnation of the Master, and 2 plus carry the 1. It's confusing. But the Master represents her villainous past. You remember close to the beginning of the season when the Doctor saved her? She has been wrestling with this redemption arc this entire season. And for us watching, it's almost been one of those things where we knew, it's just a matter of time now, and she'll revert back to being herself, her villainous master self. But she struggled with it. She genuinely struggled with it. The thing is, the Master knew that once he regenerated, he would regenerate into her. And so Missy knew that in order to not be him anymore, he was her personal hill to die on. With defeating him, which in a literal sense is killing off your old self to become your new self, that was her path to redemption. And even though it was fleeting, she had a profound act of self-sacrifice and commitment to the new path. It's one of those things too that's kind of hurtful that the Doctor, Bill, Nardo, did not get to see that she was for real, that she was genuinely dedicated to this new path. But I think deep down the Doctor always knew it. Now, you know that I love my quotes, and I have one for you today. It's from Olivia Crane. And she says, when we die, we turn into stories. And every time someone tells one of those stories, it's like we're still here for them, because we're all just stories in the end. This particular media therapy deep dive is called Where You Stand. What exactly does it mean to kill off your old self to become a new you? It's a metaphor for personal transformation. And it involves you shedding old beliefs, habits, routines, identities, and even relationships that no longer serve your growth. It's painful, but it's a necessary process of ego death, rebirth, and embracing a new, more authentic or evolved self. Now, it often comes from facing a crisis or an undeniable truth. And just like anything else, sometimes that undeniable truth is hard to deal with. Most people don't like change, and they only change when they are forced to change. And I do mean forced to change. So what does that mean, to kill off the old you to become the new you? Now, in the doctor's case, that is metaphorical and literal. He literally kills off, or his old self dies, and he becomes a brand new him. And we have been blessed over the years to see many different iterations of the Doctor. We're at the point with Peter Capaldi. He is the 12th Doctor, and we are seeing the beginning of his regeneration to the 13th Doctor. But he's fighting against it. He's reluctant to go. Reminds me of where the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, says, I don't want to go. And that was a tearjerker. It was a heartbreaker. Because over the 3 seasons that he was a Doctor, people all over the world have fell in love with him. I mean, I didn't fall in love with him, but I was like, that's my Doctor. That's my dude. But he brought so much to the role. The 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, was great, but as much as I like the 10th Doctor, I think the 12th Doctor might be my Doctor. He brought a certain amount of gravitas to the role. And I could see a lot of things from a different perspective with Peter Capaldi. He's an actor's actor. I don't know, it might be something because in my mind, thinking of someone who's several thousand years old, maybe it's just more comfortable to think of him as a grandfather type figure as opposed to a young man. A young man like David Tennant, it's like a damn vampire. But somebody with a little age of them, a little wisdom on them, it's easier to listen on because you know they've lived life. The thing about regeneration for the Doctor is you get a renewed purpose. I mean, whatever it is that causes him to regenerate is a selfless final act in whatever guise he previously held. And you just have to accept the doctorness of it all. That he's soon to become the 13th Doctor. Whatever form, whatever that means, that's what's coming. His struggle highlights that even as much as he knows it's necessary, he doesn't want to go. And the change, killing off your old self to become your new self, even though you know you're becoming someone new, it can almost signify death, and it's terrifying. Bill Potts, in her new form as a Cyberman, is not really a symbolic, it is again, literal killing off of her old human self. The beauty of it is, at least at this point right now, her mind, her core identity refused to die. Her new self is being utterly absorbed. She is physically no longer human. She's a Cyberman, a robot with a human core, but emotionally, mentally, she's still Bill. Now I know that we said that when you let go of your past self and become your new self, change is involuntary. Most people don't change because they want to change. Some do, but most people do not. This is not a change that Bill would want it, and quite literally, who would want this damn change? This was forced upon her. The choice was taken out of her hands. But even though she had a radical external change, her holding on to herself highlights the resilience that Bill had. We knew her for such a short time. The most beautiful thing that could happen in this was her eventual journey onward. And for Missy, I have to admit, her death was not something I saw coming. She stabbed the master. She had to force his regeneration, force his change to become her. But that was her literally killing her old self to become her new self. She did not want to go back down the dark path. She did not want to be what he represented. He didn't care about anyone, her, the people, nothing. She was different. She wanted to be different, but it is difficult to change, especially when you want to change. Because there will be people who will fight tooth and nail because they don't want you to change. Why? Misery loves company, but they don't want you to change. So the master shot her. Bam! But she made the decision then to sacrifice herself for the doctor and for goodness. In the end, it was the ultimate embrace for the desire for redemption and having a moral compass for once. And it was actually kind of sad to see her go. Michelle Gomez absolutely ate every time she got on screen, and it was sad to see the demise of that character. By clearly delineating these themes and showing how the doctor, Bill, and Missy all changed, how they killed their old selves to become their new selves. The Doctor Falls serves as a powerful narrative on what it means to die on that hill and to kill your old self. I hope that you got something out of it. What I would really appreciate is if you can leave me some comments. For one, if you've been watching my other deep dives, tell me, what did you think about this new style, this new way I did of doing a deep dive? Be honest, because I need to know. I'm constantly searching for a way to better serve you. Make sure that you share this with as many people as possible. Make sure that you like it. And for whatever reason, if you haven't subscribed, I'm not gonna say shame on you, but you can do it right now. Just hit the button. No fuss, no muss. Watch the other videos, see what you get out of them. And again, leave me some comments. I really want to know what you thought about this particular deep dive. The format, not only format, but what I had to say about killing your old self and becoming your new self. Was there ever a hill that you died on or were willing to die on? At the end of the day, it's all about this, but it's more important that you use this.